What's up, guys, and welcome back to Learn to Play. Today we're going to be taking a look at another ZvT. Oh yes, I know you guys love it. It's going to be 4GG up against Life. It's again from the IEM replay pack. You can go over to the IEM website and go ahead and download it for yourself. But I want to give my thought process, my ideas about the game, where people are going wrong, where people are going right, all the great and good juicy things that exist in StarCraft. And if you don't know, it's Grandmaster Great to Knowledge, okay? If you didn't know already, I'm Grandmaster, baby. I got it this week. It's awesome. So it's not like I'm just spewing nonsense. I think I know what I'm talking about these days. I went from Diamond to Grandmaster in 2 months. 2 months. That has to mean for something. Hey, let's step into game right now. Bottom left-hand corner, it is OGS 4GG. I don't think he's OGS. That's okay. He's the original gangster, though. He is. It's true. Top left-hand corner, we have Life. Alright, so what do we want to talk about today? 15 pull, by the way. Kind of interesting. Okay, so there's a lot of reasons to do something like this, and a lot of people look at this and be like, wow, this is freaking stupid. You're never going to kill your opponent. Why are you going to do a hatch first, or a pool first? This accomplishes a couple of things, and it actually merges and kind of transitions and transposes into a pretty standard situation. The reason why you go spawning pool in this position, I'll tell you, it's a lot of times, if you want to defend against something like this, you need to get a little bit lucky, or you need to send out a really early scout. A scout would come out actually right now. If you go early Reaper and put a command center on the bottom, a lot of times Zerg will be able to get Zerglings out in time and be able to stop, sometimes, very rarely, but sometimes be able to kill the Reaper and then cancel the command center. It's a really nice situation for Zerg. Doesn't happen all too often, but can happen. It is important to note, it can happen. It puts you in a nice situation. Also gets your queens out pretty early so you can connect your bases. This map, it's not too easy to connect your bases, is it? Right? It takes a long time. So a lot of times people do that in defense against the Hellions a little later on. So who would have thought that a 15 pool defends against Hellions at 7 minutes? What the fuck? Yes, that's right. It's a lot of small, little, tiny details when it comes to this high-level stuff that people are able to just manipulate the situation a lot better, and it transposes into a pretty standard game, as I'm sure we will see. I'm sure we will see it. 4GG going for the command center first. This is completely standard. Now, unfortunately for Life, this 15 pool doesn't do well against command center first. Command center first is a little bit risky, obviously, but this command center will finish by the time Zerglings approach. This only deals with the really, really fast Reaper type of stuff. So that's that. Gases, looks like he's not going to be taking them. Makes sense, right? He's getting his pool out too early. So instant Zerglings. These Zerglings are supposed to go out into the field immediately and look for his opponent, or actually attack his opponent. You can kind of do this by relegation. If there's no command center here or anything over here, you can go to the cross map. One thing to note, whenever you're doing something like this and you think that they're going for a Reaper, you have to go like this route, because you don't want to be going the same route as a Reaper would go. So if we're going and attacking over here, you need to like go this route, something like that, to be able to do that, to do this successfully. Because if the Reaper is going to catch the Zergling going mid-path, it's not a good situation for you to be in. So you need to go around and wrap around the Reapers. Something very minor, but it's important to note. As I said, the command center should finish up. It's going to stop. It should stop the mule from being placed down, but this should be an orbital command center regardless. It does not matter. But this is a pretty easy defense. Or it should be a pretty easy defense. As long as... Well, of course, it is nice when this happens too. And look at this, 3 hatch before. Kind of crazy here. So normally, actually, the first creep tumor is going to be placed right here, and then he can just start spitting out shit. But it looks like he's not doing that at all. As I said, pretty easy defense. Orbital will be able to be placed down. He just instantly throws down a mule here, lifts up, cancels, and he's good to go. Nothing too much of value just yet. And we will have a reactor at a standard time too. Reactor? Boom. Boom. Everything looks good. Okay, so how do we like the position so far? Life is looking fine. Income tab, harvesters look right for this current position, but you can definitely see the mule coming into effect and kind of equalizing despite having the harvester disadvantage. Everything looks fine though. Now just backing things off. Okay, so this is going to be real quick. Let's talk about the style from here on. Let's talk about the gas timings, why we haven't chosen to go gas all too early. We still have a big connection issue with our base. These Zerglings are actually very peculiar to me, but we'll see. I mean, I'm going to be keeping an eye. I think this is bad. I think you should be just going queens in this position, but I guess you need some mobile defense, like at the ramp or something like that. The reason why you want to get queens out super fast is to be able to defend against the incoming Hellions. So a lot of times when I am up against Command Center first, I know that Hellions are going to pop out onto the field anywhere from 6 minutes to 6 minutes and 30 seconds. That means the good number of Hellions, which is 6 Hellions or 3 production cycles, are going to be popping out into the map. Well, you could just do a minute and a half or a minute later than the first Hellions are going to be popping out. So you see the first Hellions popping out or see them doing stuff, which is going to be around, let's just say, 6 minutes. In this case, it's going to be like 6:15 or something like that. But, you know, 6 minutes, and then you just add another minute, and they can have 6 Hellions onto the map. That means by the time they're at your base, it's going to be around 7 minutes and 30 seconds. So 7:30 is when you have to defend against all of that shenaniganery. So that's why I'm thinking, like, okay, let's get our queens out. We want a couple of creep tumors kind of connecting our bases so we don't have to worry. How many do we want against 6? We probably want a total of 4, so we can go up to 5 queens and have the 2 extra queens hanging around here and then group them up together. And then scout and see if it's going to be additional starport, or is it going to be drop, or is it going to be just another command center. In this position, it is going to be a starport. I'm going to be critical. We want to be looking at gases, so I think another overlord should be here. Is there anything else? Like, this isn't sufficient. This could be a drop still. This could be Banshee play. And we, a lot of times, are able to see that if it's 2 gas or 1 gas. 2 gas is going to be Banshees sometimes. 1 gas is going to be more weighted towards getting just, you know, regular drop and getting the medevac and stuff like that. The reason why we need to know that is we need to know whether we need to spore and spine up our main base, particularly our main. We don't have to worry about our natural and third because the queens are going to be close there. But in this case, it is looking a little bit scary. Let's go ahead and see how, you can see the queens are going to be timed out for the perfect time. Units have 2 queens out in the field, so he's approaching that 5 queen count. Everything 4GG is doing looks correct. And as, wow, these are really late. Really, really, really late. Why were they so late? 30 seconds, he had everything done. Oh, super, super late. Something happened. I wasn't watching. Apparently, look at this. It's a supply cap. Well, there you go. 4GG messing up. GG. I mean, I don't mean to sound like you know, I think the game's over because of that a lot of times. And you know, a lot of times people are like, "Oh, you're calling it too early," but this mid-game stage is so important in retracting the first creep tumors. Think of it this way. Creep expands exponentially. I'm going to let that sink in. Creep expands exponentially. The reason is because the more creep tumors there are, the faster the creep spreads. Also, because the same creep tumors are going to be applied, and the queens are going to add on additional creep tumors every single time, you know, they have 25 energy. So it's increasing really fast. It's so important that you're able to deny the early creep tumors. So I think if there's any supply caps in this early game stage, it is so, so bad for the Terran. Like, you need to, absolutely need to be stopping this. Doesn't mean the game's over, I guess, but it's a lot bigger than people think. You know, you don't beat Terrans by, a lot of times, you don't beat Terrans by having the right units. You have it by getting the creep spread far enough. That's how you're able to beat Terrans. So we're going to find out and just see. Spore Crawler, of course, defending against all the major areas. Spine Crawler's up, like that. Spore Crawler going into base. He's prepping against Cloak Banshees. going to see how well it does. I think 4GG just gets batted away pretty easily here. By the way, how many queens do we have? 6. He's super prepped for this. Super prepped for this. I love it. I love it. Okay, where's the natural progression? 4GG getting additional command center. Everything looks okay. I mean, all in all, this attack is about like 15, 30 seconds late. Does that make a big deal? So. I mean, it really reduces the capabilities or what's supposed to happen. I like this so far. Find out if he's able to do more. Man, Banshee's so annoying. And we're looking at the follow-up. I like that. Makes a lot of sense so far. You should be putting it on here and going for a double here. The reason why you want to go 2 tech labs in the beginning stage instead of 1 tech lab ordinarily when you're going to fast 3 command centers, well, actually slow 3 command centers because this is a slower third. The reason why is because you need to get your upgrades out faster. Just because you went the Banshee and the Cloak, it delays the stim, it delays the combat shield, so it does affect you. So that's why I think ordinarily you're going stim and combat shield and concussive shell. This should be concussive shell, this should be combat shields directly after this. It does affect your account very, very, very minimally, which is unfortunate, but I mean, it happens. You have to catch up for sure. So let's go on. Talk about everything. Double E-base, I like this. So this is a really important order. You have to go double E-base after 3 barracks. You can't go 5 barracks and then your double E-base. It just gets too slow. And when you peak with 5 barracks, they're going to have their 1-1 finished, and your 1-1 isn't anywhere near started or anywhere near finished. So there's a big timing, defense timing, I would say, for Zerg to be able to do stuff. Not good. All right, so 4GG is able to get back into the game by killing a lot of these queens here. I mean, that is such a nice pickoff right there. Not having enough Zerglings out in the field. How Life wants to be doing this is just sitting behind here. Of course, he wants to protect his creep, but you really have to respect the power of Hellion Banshee. Hellion Banshee is really, really good. And unless you have Roach Queen, I would say, you're not going to really be able to deal with this all too effectively. We know Life to be a very Zergling heavy guy, so I like this. Zergling Queen doesn't do the best against this Hellion Banshee type of style, because a lot of times the Zerglings do not want to be engaging, but they kind of have to defend their queens, and their queens can get absolutely obliterated if they don't. So you get a lot of this back and forth action. But overall, I like what 4GG is doing here. I like the style relative to what Life likes to do, which is to go this Zergling-centric force. And now he's going to be able to equalize with the creep. He should. Let me see if he saved up. He didn't save up. He needs to take out this creep. Like, this is a 100% huge priority in this case. Forget about all this. I don't like it, 4GG. I don't like it. You want to be over here. What an unnecessary trait. Didn't even kill that much. Still 3 base against a delayed 3 base. Income tab 53 against 70. I mean, basically Life is done, right? He doesn't have to worry about drones anymore. So I think Life off of this beginning stage is able to get a huge advantage, even denying the 3rd base. This is like super huge advantage for Life. This is why I watch Life, man. He's so good. He knows what he's doing. And he made a huge mistake. He lost 4 queens. 4 queens. Count them. Hello. That's a lot of queens. It's a lot of queens. Let's see how he deals with this drop, though. This is like what you have to do. So whenever you're up against a delayed 3 base, you have to realize, as Zerg, you have to realize that all your opponent is really capable of are pushes down the front, and because we didn't see a push down the front with the Hellions and Banshees, it's going to be some sort of drop. All Life should be doing is prepping for this drop. Where are my units going to be located? I'll tell you this. My units are never going to be out here on the map, which of course Life isn't. They're going to be located right here. Right here. That way I can defend against this and defend against that. Or if I really need to, I'm going to split up Zergling Baneling over here and Zergling Baneling over here. Why in the hell are we situated over here? Now, let's talk about why you would be here. It's defending against this creep, right? You want to defend the creep, make sure it's okay. but you have to realize your opponent's capabilities, which are to do drops pretty fast because they want the starport really early, but because they've gotten a delayed third command center, they don't really have the capabilities of having straight up engagement. They need to take advantage of their tech that they invested so much in getting, which was the Banshee, the Hellions, and stuff like that. So now drops are pretty much inevitable around this time. Like, I would say 10 minutes on, you have to be very mindful about these drops. So I would say Life is pretty out of position for what he should have expected. This is a really expected attack. And okay, hold on. Let me just see where, weird spot for it. But okay, Centrifugal Hook's almost up. Wow, that is a critical loss right here. So good for 4GG. Played that so well. What are you going to max on right now? Unfortunately, actually, it's pretty negligible. I'm gonna take it back. The reason why I think it's pretty negligible at this point is because 4GG has no killing blows. Like, he's gonna push out here, but just because he killed the spawning pool, that's it. He really doesn't have the capacity because he got such a late third. He's not on 3-base economy. He's not on 3-base production really quite yet. I mean, he actually has a lot of barracks. Actually, he is on 3-base production. Wow, pretty impressive by 4GG. He's doing this at the cost of getting a second factory. Looks like he has a 3rd base saturated. Wow, 4GG really impressed me. I actually want to go back and see how he did all this. Because I didn't really think he was capable of doing this. Okay. Oh, okay. He's just non-stop getting SCVs. Non-stop getting SCVs. And is prepping for this really early. Okay, and there you have it. He cut the medevacs. Normally, obviously, you'll have continued medevac production from here. But he cut the medevacs, bursted down. Did he really cut it? Where the hell, where is he losing out on? That he's able to get all this production pretty fast. I guess it's not pretty fast, 11:30. Okay. I'm learning too, you know? I'm reassessing everything that there is to have about this. Okay, so let's continue on. Defense against this. Lose the spawning pool. Lose some banelings. Keep pressuring. Okay. Still giving Life the slight advantage here. This is sad. I love this, obviously. Okay. A Muta chase. Slightly incorrect. So let's just be critical here. If we have this much dominance on the ground, where should our mutas be attacking? This is not the path that you should be taking. You should be putting your mutas over here and pushing up like this, not from here over. It doesn't make sense. It does the same thing, right? If I'm starting with my mutas over here and then attacking in, or starting with my mutas here and attacking in. And this way we can catch a lot of the retreat. Now we're chasing. So it's a unfortunate situation. So Life makes a little tiny bit of a positional problem, but this is like the little tiny things that makes you a pro gamer and makes you not. Not saying that he's not a pro gamer. Obviously, Life is a pro gamer. It's just there are things that we could be doing to slightly making it better for ourselves. Okay, so what is the style that Life, the follow-up overall for Life? Like, how do we want to be playing out this map? We have 4 bases. Do we want to just be making a lot of units and staying on Zerg and Baneling Muta? And I would say, how hard is it to take a 5th base? Our 5th base naturally is going to be over here or over here. This is a really difficult base to defend. You have to break down the rocks. You know, drops are pretty easy. I mean, you drop back here and stuff like that. We don't want to be taking these expansions because double medevac drops are really threatening over here. So I would say this is probably the #1 place to take. For us to take this expansion, that means we need to have this control, right? We need to be able to defend this area. That's not too easy. That's basically saying, oh, okay, well, Terran can go up to 4 base, maybe even 5 base. And we just need to be trading efficiently against Terran 5 base. Or we need to be denying this expansion? That doesn't seem too easy. That expansion seems very well protected. So I would say the game needs to end before 4 base. We really don't want to be going into endgame against Terran on this map in these positions. If it was cross positions, completely different situation. But, you know, in this current position, I really feel like we want to be keeping it on layer tech. That means we're going to be going up to mutas, like the 30, 40, 50 count. And we want to be doing like base trades like crazy and counterattacks like crazy with our mutas. Zergling Banelings coming into this over here and over here. And just trying to have it super high pressure as much as possible. So we'll see how Life does it. For our Terran player, I think the best way to play this is to keep our Zerg opponent at 4 base. Now the problem with this is that Life has gotten really fast 4 base. We don't have combat shields yet, do we? Nope. Sad beans. That's the problem. So how I'm actually structuring this out, I'm prepping for endgame and having better trades. And with such a low Widowmine count, I don't think that's capable. So I'm actually going to throw it over to 3 factory production, get Thor and double Widowmine, and keep slowing this game fucking down a ton. Making it so that I don't have to step onto creep and do damage with all of my Marines. I can place my Widow Mines and slowly creep up on my opponent and slowly get rid of more and more of his position. So I'm actually taking this to be very defensive, taking my 4th slowly, taking my 5th base slowly, just creeping, making sure that I'm maintaining everything, realizing that he can counterattack. That means eventually we are going to have to turret up this place. We're going to have to turret up this place. Thors are going to be an integral part of this composition. So I'm going actually slightly faster Thors. That way I can bring it to... Thors are going to delay engagements, right? He can't be constantly muta harassing me if I throw out a Thor. It's all or nothing. And that's going to stop the big attacks from happening a lot, or stop a lot of the trades or favorable trades for mutas a lot of the times. So if we get Thors out, we stop that from happening, we get to the 200-200, we play defensive. I think that's a much better decision rather than playing very aggressive, trying to have massive trades, allowing the smaller count of like Marines to be on the mount, and then the mutas are going to be kind of activated and empowered because of that. Because now, if they have a high muta count, I still have to defend 4 different places. I don't have a 200 maxed army. So, because I have to defend against 4 different places, I'm going to be, a lot of the time, spread thin. We want to be staying at a higher count, like around 150 to 180, or 150 to 200, a lot more of the time than having these constant trades. I feel like these constant trades do not work out well for us. But we're going to find out. We're going to find out. I don't know the results. I know who wins the series, but I don't know the actual results of each game. That's nice. Nice little Widow Mine shot there. We don't have any more Widow Mines. Double medevac drop here. It's not looking good to go into mutas like this. Lots going on, apparently. Wow, this is like glorious. I really feel like Life is kind of botching this here. It's kind of weird. The mutas need to be over here. So how are we going to be able to activate our mutas from actually having such a defensive position? Do we just have Zergling Banelings over here and then we clean up drops in the front? Do we want mutas in our main composition is what I'm saying? Or do we want mutas to be that auxiliary force? I a lot of times like having Zergling Baneling defend against this and maybe having Spore Crawlers have around there. But the reason being is because the main army is where more medevacs are going to be and where mutas are going to be a lot better in this early game stage. I can pick off Widow Mines, I can pick off medevacs. It's just a lot easier overall. I can do the Zergling Baneling to stop him from microing. Small little packs, right? You see that all the time, like 10 Zerglings, 6 Banelings, and then the mutas. The mutas are there to get free shots while the Zergling Banelings force the Terran to run away. And while they're running away, you pick off the medevac. You jump back. I think that's a lot better, and just keeping an auxiliary force of just strictly Zergling Banelings to defend against a lot of these drops in the back. Let's find out how it's going to work, though, if Life actually changes from here. I love this. All the creep is being cleaned up really nicely. And there's really no... Okay, let's find out. Oh, God. The pain is real. But you can see, massive trades. Massive trades because we don't have a Widowmine count. We're really not capable of taking out all these Zergling Banelings. 2-2 against 2-2. 3-3 is on the way. So it really comes down to not having enough Widowmines in this composition. And being mainly Marines. Like, we're not going to be able to deal with anything. Our gas is all going towards these medevacs. I think a higher factory count is absolutely needed. Do we have that at all? No. 4GG is going to have a very tough time at this mid-game stage, or the end of mid-game, I should say, where he needs to be moving forward. Do we see? Perfect. I don't think he should. I mean, maybe a high for 3-3, but that's about it. You don't really want to be getting a high for anything else. Like, I think ultras aren't the correct decision. Although maybe, I might be wrong. But I personally think that it's not the right decision. Okay, we have him coming out here again. Same position. He's attacking instant. And we're going to see if this actually comes out to work. I personally don't like this. I don't think you need to be super high pressure. Why don't we need to be super high pressure? We already have this awesome position. We are going to force attacks off creep. Let's get up to 200-200 first. Let's go ahead and make it very, very difficult for our opponent to have any sort of Zergling Baneling advantage on our ground. Right now, we don't have the right composition either, and that's kind of also due to getting the 3-3. And I just saw he doesn't have this 5th and 6th gases, so it's kind of really staggering his gas count. I guess not. I mean, he's at 382. I'm not feeling too great about taking these engagements. Normally, people will take engagements because they think they have either an advantage and they're trying to get value, or they're trying to get units out of position. And do you really think that Terran has an advantage and is trying to get value here? I don't think so. I mean, yes, he's attacking or forcing an attack off creep, but this Widowmine count is just so miserable. So miserable. But we're going to find out. We're going to find out. I have no clue. I don't know what happens. It's not looking good. See, right there, he lost a little bit of value with his mutas. The Banelings were going in. Here, I'll back up really quick. See what the mutas are doing? They're actually focusing on the medevacs. The Banelings are forcing the Marines to run away. This is exactly how you want to be playing it. And now these Banelings, he's just losing a little bit of value. These Banelings are forcing away. These are 2 medevacs that should have died. He's going to go in a little bit later. That's fine. Good engagement so far. Looks like 4GG is just getting boarded here. Just overrun. Still, there hasn't been that tipping point of life just getting a really, really huge advantage and being able to just clean everything up super fast. So it is a little bit worrying still. It's just been like pretty even trades. And he kind of messed up his muta count by trading out right there. 4GG aggressing up once again. But just doesn't have the Widowmine count. Jeez, 4GG, you're looking so good, and then you let it go, man. You let it go. He needs another factory. Does he have his factory yet? He does not. Sad beans, man. I mean, if this Widowmine count gets reset, which it hasn't been just yet, but if it gets reset, this is a situation where I think that's where life is going to take an advantage. Again, is this life playing super great, or is this mistakes being made by the other person? And I'm not saying both of them haven't made mistakes, but I feel like Terran in this spot is making a mistake to not be able to deal with this mass Zergling Baneling. Like, you need the mass Widowmine count. You can't just rely on micro. Because this happens. Oh my god. Mutas. Good splits though. Very good splits. Impressive. And you can see he's clearing up all the creep. So I really like, I'm going back and forth. 4GG is doing a great job of clearing up so much creep. My god. And Life is doing a bad job at maintaining his creep. A lot of times, it's how well can you maintain the creep, as I was talking about at the very early game stages. If these attacks were all on creep, you would see the Zerg just swamping the Terran pretty easily, but it's not the case. Nice. I don't know if I love this or not. Good decision, man. Okay, Widow Mines are expended. What are you gonna do? How can you possibly keep up with this Zerg? How can you possibly keep up with the Zerg? You can't. It's not possible. This is definitely a bad sign. Your Zerg is all the way on your side of the base. Oh! Got scared. I got scared. What he needs to be doing now is expanding his creep. Okay, let's talk about follow-ups from here on out, because we have had kind of a weird game here. 4th base is being taken. We're going to be on 2 base very, very quickly. 2 base economy for 4GG. As the Terran player, I'm very worried because I haven't had any killing blows. And going into 4 base, a delayed 4 base, even this base will mine out. Wow, look at that. I was about to say, this base is going to mine out pretty fast too, because all available mules were going to this base. So I'm going to go like to 2 base, from 4 base to 2 base to 1 base really, really quickly. I haven't been able to do killing blows against Zerg. They've been able to maintain their meter counts. So what am I going to do in this spot as Terran? Do I just, go into like comatose mode where I just sit back and relax and wait until like 200 again, or do I push forward? God. I feel like there's no good answers for Terran in this spot. What's the best answer though? What's the best answer for dealing with this? I would say not Thors. You can't go Thors anymore because it's cutting into the marine production way too much. And for the growing phase, it's just not. And we're growing at this point, or we have to grow because we're at 120 out of 200. We need to grow fastest in supply. I feel like that's not a good spot to throw your money into. Maybe just like 1 Thor, but you can't have constant Thor production. I think you have to just hope for a really good engagement because at this point, 4GG is like super, super, super far behind. He needs to take this base. So he needs to just be fighting for this position as best as possible. If I am life, what am I going to do with this time? We're 21 minutes in. We have to know our opponent is like kind of getting a reduction in everything. Do we go for the 3-3 or do we get a lot of mutas? Remember, 3-3 is probably like, well, the hive is 150 gas, and then it's 300 gas, 200 gas. So 500, 650. That's 650 gas. That could be like 6.5 mutas. So that's your opportunity cost right there. And Banelings and Zerglings are doing about the same amount of damage, 3-3 against 2-2, as 3-3 against 3-3. It's not like that considerable, because Banelings are the main ones that are doing all the damage. Do I like attacks here? I don't think you need to attack here. I think you just expand your creep, take your 5th base, and relax. But this is fine too. I mean, he's doing multi-pronged attacks and trying to just get stuff done. Wow. Apparently you can do stuff like this. Thor's gonna get obliterated. Obliterated. Die. And you just keep Zergling Baneling here? Okay, that makes sense to me. Keep him on 1 base. He's on 1 base, right? Wow, and he's just gonna Zergling Baneling. That's it. Like, he's trying to end the game right now. And I see that Life doing this a lot. I saw him doing this against Morrow, and now I'm seeing him do this against 4GG. I really feel like it's an unnecessary, aggressive way to put yourself in a loss. Like, don't get me wrong, it's probably going to be very successful. I don't really know, but I think it's going to be successful. But you're attacking off creep. I think, in general, when you're attacking off creep, it's like minus 20% in your effectiveness, minus 15% in your effectiveness, and it's a really unnecessary thing to be taking. Why not wait for your opponents to come into you? You're already putting them on 1 base. This is going to be mined out. This is going to be mined out. You don't have to worry so much knowing that you can hit 200 a lot faster as long as you maintain your 3 base economy. And this is going to be one of your bases. This is going to be the other part of your bases, and right here. And you can go 3 base against 1 base here for the next, 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 7 minutes, and you're going to be A-okay. I think it's a little bit unnecessary, but a lot of times Life just likes to stay aggressive and keep trading. I guess the argument to keep attacking into this is trades are better for Zerg. And the reason why trades are better for Zerg in this spot is because one base takes forever to be able to macro up and get enough to stay alive, right? Just like if I trade here, you're at 80 supply, and let's say I'm at 80 supply as well. Well, I'm gonna hit a higher supply faster than you every single time because I have more bases than you. And see, here's the problem: when you have a bad engagement, you leave yourself open for counterattacks, and this isn't. I mean, it's still fine because this is enough banelings to slay several elephants, but it's just kind of unnecessary to me. Okay. Counterattacking, that's fine. This should be pretty fruitless. And this is great. I love this. I mean, constant pressure on this base, making sure he's relegated to a small count. And that's why I would have loved him. Life's goal should have been, let's get our creep spread here and our creep spread here, and then take this base. I think that's what it should have been, and say, okay, let's just play macro games. Because I know, the fact that I eliminated this, I mean, even with all the orbitals, and if you put everything together, you're only looking at like 900 minerals per minute, mining just off of one base here. 900 minerals per minute is not a lot compared to 2,000 minerals per minute, which is what Terran should be at 3 base. And he's actually taking this base over here. So I think life is very, very gloriously ahead. Oh god. And that's why 4GG has to do stupid shit like this. Like he has no choice. He absolutely has to. And there's just so many Zerglings and Banelings. Let's take a look at the Widow Mine count. 0. Let me tell you how 76 Banelings does against 56 Marines. Not well. True story. Not well. Okay. I don't care how good of a macro god you are. It's not going to go well! Oh my god. This is terrifying! Oh my god. That's hilarious. That is terrifying. Banelings for days. Oh my god. This is so hilarious. Man, IEM produces some of the best games. I cannot wait until IEM happens this weekend. I'm going to do replay analysis for a lot of these games. And it doesn't matter, right? I mean, life is just so far ahead. So let's go ahead and just exit forward. There's no way that 4GG gets any semblance of an army to be able to deal with life at this point. If life ever loses this game, it's just an egregious error. I mean, he's doing everything that he needs to be able to defend against this. One base is not going to handle it. And we go back to how 4GG was actually handling his mid-game stage. It wasn't a good way to handle it. It's not prepping or future prepping. Don't worry about going into endgame. Endgame in close positions is really hard for Zerg. Because think, what if we maintained this same position? Just maintained it. Is he ever taking this expansion? No, he's not. It's impossible. And now you're in a really shitty situation. Oh, 4GG. Oh, 4GG. The woes. I love his aggression, though. I mean, it looked super, super close. I'm not going to lie. But how it stands right now, es no bueno. And now there's going to be a relocation to the top right-hand corner, making it so hard for the Terran to be able to do anything. Because now, like, what I would love to see life do is actually take all 4 of these and just throw down spawning, or over here, spawning pool, spire, baneling nest. and say, okay, let's go. And give up all of this. Say like, fuck it. Why do we need to keep this? This is such a liability. Is there any minerals and gas here? Oh, there's gas. Are there any minerals there? No, there isn't. What if we just have not even a hive tech, just spawning pool, baneling nest, spire. We have queens everywhere over here. What can Terran realistically do? Nothing. Nothing. Now they have to cross the map and they're only on one base? Or let's say they even had two bases. Let's say they had this base as well. What are they going to be able to do? Okay, go ahead and kill this top left. If you kill this top left, I'm going to counterattack you. It's just a big meat shield. There's no reason, there's no strategic reason that we should be keeping this top left-hand corner as Zerg. That's what I would love life to do. Unfortunately, it doesn't really happen ever. But I tell you, if I make it to GSL one day, you're going to see me do something like that. And I'm playing ZvT, you're going to see me doing something like that. That's for sure. That's for sure. Life ain't worried. Okay, should be a little bit worried. This is scary. Oh, look at all the mutas! Where did he get all of these? Can you kill it? Oh my god. Oh my god. Is life really throwing? Is life really throwing? Oh my god. Don't you dare throw this in your life. I'll be so married. So married. I don't think he can throw this. I don't think he's capable of doing it. I don't think any human being is. If I put a diamond in this spot against Grandmaster, do you think how often do you think the diamond will win if he's in the Zerg spot? 80%? That's what I think it should be 100% of diamond wins. But I might be wrong. I mean, I think all of this is a formality. We'll find out very quickly here. Even with, you know, all the risky things that life has been doing unnecessarily. Please don't die here, life. Ow. Is that GG yet? Okay, this is GG. This is GG. No, it's still 4 GG. Okay, this has to be it. Later. Alright, well there you go, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed that replay. I know, you know, as I said, I'm always going to be very, very critical. I think 4GG had the wrong game plan going into this for close positions on Deadwing. I think Life did very aggressive, very, very aggressive things in this game that kind of put himself in a compromising situation. But overall, he played the better game, and I think the better player won overall in this game. Yeah, I'll be doing these a lot more. If you guys like it, please tweet at me, leave some comments below, tell me what you like, what you didn't like, and stuff like that. Whether you like replay analysis like this, or you want me to go back to just the overall stuff. I'm going to try to mix in both of them as much as possible, and just be candid with you guys. I think that's the most important thing. Just tell you, when I think something's shit, it's shit, and when something's awesome, it really, truly is awesome. I'm not trying to do the caster hype. Those days are kind of over for me. You know, I'm not that guy anymore. Anyway, guys, thanks so much. As always, do what you love what you do. I'll catch you guys next time.